Alberta Primetime with Michael Higgins.
Welcome to Alberta Primetime. Ahead tonight, our Friday panel on Calgarians rallying around efforts to find a child missing more than a week. But first, fueling the summer high season.
I appreciate the fact that people can come and visit and make travel more affordable for them as well.
A lot of people are coming into Banff, and this small town kind of runs off tourism, so to have the more people, the better.
Business community reaction in Banff to this year's return of the Canada Strong Pass, the federal government's offer of no-cost access to national parks. And in Alberta's Rocky Mountains, that brings additional pressures. Joining us now, the Mayor of Banff, Corey D'Amano. Mayor D'Amano, good to see you. Welcome back.
Thank you so much. It's good to be here.
All right. Well, anyone visiting your community of late knows well that traffic congestion is a very real thing. What did you take from last year's experiences with the Canada Strong Pass to better prepare for this summer?
So while it's hard to have any hard statistics on the correlation between the Canada Strong Pass and our visitation, what I can say is last year we saw a record amount of people coming into Banff National Park, as well as a record amount of vehicles counted at the two entrances to town. And so really we just continue to encourage folks to use transit, either from the city to the mountains in general, or once you're here. That's been our big message, is to get onto transit.
Okay, so from that, I take it that you do, to a degree, actually track vehicle traffic. Do you have a handle on how this summer is shaping up?
Interestingly enough, we actually had a bit of a decrease in vehicle volumes this past June, but we also had a mixed bag of weather. We had rain, we had some smoke, as well as the FIFA World Cup going on in other places in Canada. So we saw actually a bit of a decrease in June.
All right. So for those sunny days, maybe when you do see an increase in that traffic congestion, how do you see that shaping or impacting the visitor experience, especially for those maybe coming from outside our provincial and international borders?
So Banff is the same size it's been since 1990. Our road network is the same. Our parking capacity is practically the same. And when you think about just the increase in visitation, it means that there's going to be some pinch points. And so in particular, our parking lots are full by 10 a.m., which is why we encourage folks to come here without a car to begin with. You can go to carfreebanff.ca to find more info. However, if you do drive a rental car, etc., we ask you that if you are at a hotel or a campground to leave your car there during your stay and to get onto transit to go to those attractions and destinations that you'd like to explore.
Speaking of transit, as many will know, the Alberta government is driving efforts around a passenger rail master plan, a 30-year network that is proposed to include a 160-kilometer-an-hour regional rail service between Calgary and Banff. How does that land on the radar for your municipality?
We're really encouraged to see that the provincial government is looking at rail. There's a bit of a long horizon on that plan. I believe it's 30 years, but we're really encouraged that Banff is a part of the conversation there. We believe that we need frequent, affordable, convenient mass transit from the city to Banff, and that could be rail or bus, one now, one later. So we're really supportive of the concept of exploring what that could look like.
So you'd like to see a heightened bus service availability in the interim?
Yes, we used to have the On-It regional transit service, but unfortunately they have closed operations, so we no longer have that. It serviced the mountains on the weekends, but it was a proof of concept that folks were using it. It was highly used and really showed us that people were willing to get on a bus to come here. And we believe that if, for instance, the government and the city of Calgary are able to come up with a Grand Central station as a first measure, perhaps we could trial bus out of there before rail becomes an option out to Banff.
Now, how much of a voice has your community had in shaping discussions around, be it the bus service or the return of rail service to Banff, providing the input, the feedback that would make it worthwhile?
Several years ago, the town of Banff did a feasibility study with the city of Calgary and the town of Canmore and Cochrane to see if it was even possible to have mass transit come out here. And so that study showed that it was, and that there would be a way to go about it. And so we've been advocating ever since then, really. And as I mentioned earlier, we used to have On It that came here. So we know that it works. We just need to see it scaled up onto a bigger scale. Really, On It, at the end of the day, it only moved about 1% of the visitors we see every year.
All right. Speaking of the provincial government, Albertans just under 3 months away from voting in a referendum that includes questions on immigration measures, provincial controls, for a community whose businesses rely on drawing seasonal employees, including many from outside Canada. What do you see riding on the outcome of this referendum?
Well, speaking personally, permanent residents, immigrants, they make up the wonderful community that Banff is today. They help to build this town, and they're very much a part of our community now as well as our future. And so personally, I think it's really important that they know that they are valued and they are respected, and that we cherish them so deeply, and that they are very much a part of our community.
How engaged a voice do you personally have in dialogue around these referendum questions?
I've expressed that I will be voting to stay in Canada, and I've expressed that the other questions on the ballot are inherently un-Canadian. I believe that it's a very Canadian right for folks to have access to health care, and so I plan on spreading my message as far and wide as I can, and trying to get Banffites out to vote as well.
All right. One last question for you. And we'll bring it back full circle. For those of us from throughout the province destined for Banff this season, summer season, how do we make the best of our visit without further adding to the strain of that traffic congestion?
The best advice I can give is to plan ahead. So, make those reservations for the attractions you'd like to go to, for the restaurants you'd like to dine. Just try to prepare yourself. Also, come with a plan B. If you are coming later in the day, you likely are going to have a hard time trying to find parking. So figure out what that could look like for you. I would also suggest that coming after 5 p.m. is also a great idea. There's less there's less vehicles in our parking lots at that time. There's more space at attractions. There's still plenty of daylight to be had. So I would consider any of those above options, as well as carfreebanff.ca, where you can find some ways to get here without your vehicle.
All right. We'll leave it there. I appreciate your time this evening, Mayor D'Amato. Thank you kindly.
Thank you so much.
That's Corey D'Amato, the Mayor of Banff. From efforts to find a missing Calgary child to gauging the impact of the World Cup, turning the Bow into a destination for surfing, and an Alberta celebrity's garage sale. Our Primetime This Week panel is in, and joining us this evening, Alex Boyd, Alberta-based national reporter for the Toronto Star, and Ellen Parker, founder, CEO of Parker PR in Calgary. Good evening to you both. And let's begin with the continuing search for a Calgary child. 11-year-old Parker, who is on the autism spectrum and nonverbal, disappeared more than a week ago, prompting an exhaustive citywide effort involving first responders and local residents alike.
It's definitely impacted the community and this city. The support has been outstanding.
And while efforts continue, questions are being raised about when an Amber Alert was issued 2 days after Parker went missing.
I believe if that Amber Alert went out when it should have, he would have been home.
This Calgary mother, whose son is on the spectrum, has started a petition calling for a new alert system.
And we make it so that it is for all children, all missing children, or we create something called an indigo alert. And it's specific. The color of autism awareness is indigo.
There is the Child Search Network, though people need to sign up to receive alerts.
It is a system that only police can operate, and it was specifically designed so that police could activate an alert immediately when the escalation risk happened outside of Amber Alert.
Now, police did use that before approaching the province for an Amber Alert. In a statement to CTV News, the province says in the coming months it will be reviewing the alert system to identify best practices used across the country and assess whether any improvements can be made. Alex says, as a Calgarian, what's to be said for how the city as a whole is rallying around efforts to find 11-year-old Parker?
I mean, I think if you're not from Calgary, it might be hard to understand just what an outpouring of support there has been for finding Parker. Like, I mean, I live in Calgary, as you said, and just as someone who's been moving around the city, I've run into search parties, I've run into police who are out looking. It's all over my social media. It's something that my neighbors are discussing. You know, it's something that you can really feel the concern and the worry for Parker right now. So, I mean, I think it speaks to, you know, just how worried Calgarians are feeling right now, and also just how, you know, Calgarians really are feeling like they need to be involved and they need to do something.
Alan, how much of a case do you feel could be made for building out a new alert system, given Amber Alerts are for child abduction emergencies?
Yeah, I mean, I think that as we've spoken before, there are so many different alert systems, and we're getting messages kind of quite consistently lately. But with respect to this, it's about communication around, you know, missing children. And this Amber Alert is for abducted kids. So I think just messaging around utilizing it no matter what, if the child is missing, irrespective of kind of how or why it happened, having that as a tool to be able to get help for this. And to the point earlier made about the outpour of the community, even just Calgary is so action oriented, and this whole thing we've seen on social media, people actually giving you a call to action, tag 5 people to help. I've seen small businesses emailing saying our entire staff is going to look for Parker if you want to join or send this to another small business that you may know. So it's been really interesting to watch this unfold, and our hearts are just, yeah, of course, devastated and hoping that we have a positive outcome.
Alex, where do you weigh in on the potential for alert fatigue if the system were to expand?
I mean, I think that's the issue. I think it's always easy to say, well, of course, let's just alert for everything. But I think there is a very real danger of people getting desensitized to constant alerts on their phone. I think we've seen a little bit of that about all the weather alerts that Albertans have received already this summer. And so I think, you know, there's a reason the Amber Alerts were set up that way. You know, when kids are abducted, time is of the essence, and people are needed to look right now. Whereas I'm not sure that's totally always the case every time a child wanders away. But at the same time, you know, part of police's job is to, you know, assess risk and try to, you know, figure out what is the correct response. And so one wonders if there isn't a little bit more flexibility or a way to assess risk on a case-by-case basis, as was done in this case, because an Amber Alert, of course, was put out. It was just put out a couple of days later because it needed special permission.
Oh, everyone hopeful in this case. Next up, captivating global attention the past several weeks, World Cup soccer action.
Greatest summer ever, best summer of our lives. I got to go to Vancouver, insane experience. This is even better. Everything's been amazing.
My entire life, I've been like dreaming about this since I was a little kid, and it's the first time I've got to experience one in Canada. Best time I've ever had.
Thousands turned out for this Stephen Avenue watch party in Calgary for the final, further fueling momentum behind the sport.
The energy, the excitement, the interest in soccer this entire summer has been next level. So many fans, so many families looking to get involved, and we're really excited to welcome them to the sport this summer.
The World Cup's been huge for us, honestly. Like the Vancouver Whitecaps game, having so many people come to that, it was honestly amazing.
And engagement in the World Cup also spurred an economic boost for some businesses.
we've heard anywhere from 20 to 30% up from last year, especially at the local pubs that are big soccer places.
It's through events like this that we get to make sure the downtown is economically vibrant and do events like this. So this is really important, and we love doing things like this.
And a record number of Canadians tuned in to watch the World Cup on television. TSN says there were more than 30 million unique viewers, 6.4 million alone Sunday, to watch Spain capture the win, making it the most watched World Cup final ever in Canada. Ellen, important to note as well, Team Canada made it all the way to the round of 16, exceeding the expectations of many. How'd the World Cup land in your household?
Yeah, we loved watching the games. We were so excited and enthusiastic. You know, any kind of athletes in Canada on the world stage is so exciting. My boys both play hockey, so we are accustomed to watching sports. It was funny, over the weekend we did a backcountry camping trip up into the mountains, about 8 kilometers in. And even when we were camping, some of the other families were trying to get internet reception, hiking up to even further spots to see what was going on Sunday. So it brought all of us together, even though we were far up in the mountains. And yeah, really fun, so exciting, and happy to be able to see this.
Yeah, and Alex, we saw the degree of excitement there in the video a second ago, and we talked previously on the panel about expectations. In the end, was it worth Canada playing a role in helping host this year's World Cup? What do you make of how it all turned out?
I think, to quote myself on this very panel from about a month ago, was, you know, I think I said something like, you know, it's great that it's here, but, you know, a lot of resources going into it. And I think, you know, there's going to be a lot to be said about whether or not this does actually deliver on the economic boost that it is promising. And, you know, the early numbers does seem to be that was the case. You know, certainly here in Calgary and host cities like Toronto and Vancouver, they are saying that, you know, they did see an increase in revenue because of the increased visitation. It was certainly great for football fans. I got to say, I was actually about a block away from the watch party here in Calgary, though I was inside the air conditioning. It was a pretty hot day. So yeah, I can speak firsthand to just how excited people were to be outside, to be watching, which is not really the turnout that I'm used to seeing here in Canada for football. So yeah, it was cool to see.
Yeah, certainly interest in the sport is building in Canada as a result. All right, for us, time for a bit of a break, but when we come back, an Alberta attraction putting surfboards front and center, and Brad Kissel's big sell-off. More from our Primetime This Week panel in a moment. Welcome back. Alberta has so much to offer when it comes to outdoor activities, and the list of attractions is growing to include a sport more commonly found in coastal resort areas. Thanks to flood mitigation work needed along the Bow River under the Louise Bridge and 10th Street in Calgary, plans also include an adjustable wave for surfing as well as whitewater kayaking. The project also proposes a large public seating area with improved water access. The area had long been a spot for river surfing, but high stream flows and debris has made it unusable in recent years.
There are a lot of hazards in the area. Having a wave that is built and is adjustable not only means that we would get a surfable wave many months of the year, but we would have a safer area with less hazards for things.
The mitigation work and wave installation is expected to cost $12 million. No date yet for construction, but completion could take up to 3 years. Alex, Edmonton occasionally has its accidental beach on the North Saskatchewan River. What do you make of building out the Bow in Calgary for the surfing set? We briefly saw an image there of the proposal.
Mm-hmm. This makes a lot of sense to me. It wouldn't actually be the first whitewater facility or built out, I don't know what you'd call it, like a attraction anyway, somewhere for people who enjoy whitewater to go. It wouldn't be the first such example of this on the Bow. There's another one already. It's called Harvey Passage. Clearly the theme today is my wanderings around Calgary, but I was walking past there last week and I could not believe the number of people who were sitting on rocks, wading into the water, waiting to watch a couple of people go through there. And so I think there's a lot of enthusiasm to kind of watch people do this kind of stuff. Certainly people who participate in it are very excited about it. And what I think is cool is, both Edmonton and Calgary have these big, beautiful rivers, and there's been proposals in the last couple of years in both cities to make it easier to get down to the water and to really make the water part of, our resources or our park space within cities. And so this seems like part of that conversation. And I think that it makes a lot of sense to me.
Ellen, what do you see a facility like this fitting into all that Calgary has to offer? Is this the kind of development that helps take the city up yet another notch when it comes to international appeal?
Yes, I absolutely think it does. We live about 3 blocks from that spot, and our entire family actually likes to surf. My husband's quite an avid surfer and has even surfed that wave previously, but I think it's very exciting. We are also seeing many different small businesses kind of pop up along the pathway over to Princess Island Park along the Bow there, and so it will help these people invest in these other businesses. They can pop over, help revitalize downtown. And we are seeing this as a growing movement even around the world. Like Palm Springs has an amazing indoor area where you can surf. We're seeing wave pools everywhere. So I think it's great that our city has responded to this need and growing appetite, and I can't wait to see it come to fruition. My son also goes to the river often and fishes quite frequently, so I could see it turning into other things and really utilizing our rivers and our parkways. I think is a wonderful way to elevate our city.
Indeed. Okay, one more topic, and it's a destination of a different sort.
This for free.
Oh, thank you.
Is that good?
My son will be very happy about that.
Yes, that was Alberta-born country crooner Brett Kissel holding a garage sale with his family at a community center in Sherwood Park.
I come from a family of hoarders. Like we thought that we're pretty organized, but we just have so much stuff that we've accumulated over the years.
We're selling furniture and all our old toys and some clothes, shoes, old hats, and we've made a lot of money so far.
Funds that will find their way to a pair of local charities. It was also a chance for a meet and greet with a famous Albertan.
I mean, I've been a fan of Brett since I was little, and then I just found it really cool that I could have like a, personal experience with him and just say I've been to his garage sale.
We love Brett Kissel. We just wanted to meet him and come see what he had out here and support him.
And I know it's all going to charity, so why not support charity?
And it's really, really cool to actually have a visit with people. Sign some autographs too. We've been having fun.
Funds raised benefiting Alberta Dreams and Golden Circle of Champions. Ellen, where do garage sales rank in your list of must-do activities? And do you need a celebrity to draw you in?
I grew up thrifting and garage sale hopping, and I've seen it's becoming so popular. My kids do it, my friends' kids, especially the girls, they love to thrift. Thrifting used to be a time where you could find really crazy treasures. Nowadays, it's become so mainstream and so popular, from what I see anyway, that it's a little harder to find the real treasures. But yes, definitely high up there on shopping.
Alex, if there's one celebrity holding a garage sale that you'd make a beeline to go see, who would that be?
Oh gosh. Well, if we're this is aspirational, but if we were talking like well-known Albertans, someone from the Ralph Klein era, obviously that's no longer possible, but someone who I'm assuming probably collected a whole bunch of interesting political gifts, lived an interesting life, met a lot of interesting people. I bet he is someone who once upon a time had a lot of unique treasures in his basement.
Yeah, lots of political history in this province. All right, we'll have to leave it there. Thank you both. Hope you have an awesome weekend.
Thanks, Michael.
Thank you.
Now, here are a few responses to a recent Alberta Primetime segment about Carlo Dade's comment Thursday that no good deal is on the table in the Canada-U.S. trade dispute. Luke agrees with Carlo, writing, "There is no deal to be made with this administration. Stop wasting your time." BC Boy notes, "No deal is better than a bad deal." Q-Town writes, "Dumbest thing Carney can do is grandstand against a chaotic president with all the leverage." And Rodrigo bluntly says, "Just tell Trump to get lost." Remember, you can always have a say. Email us anytime at comments@albertaprimetime.com. That is our program for tonight. Have a great evening and a great weekend, everyone, from all of us at Alberta Primetime. Thank you for watching, and join us again next time.